Yeah, my name's Byron from Ear to the Ground magazine, and I'm here to introduce you to a new revolution in hip-hop medium, Third Eye Video Magazine. And this month we'll be bringing you exclusive interviews with the likes of Blade, MC Mell'O, the Lords of Rap, and 279. As well as this, we'll also be previewing material from the likes of Kinetic Effect and St. Macbeth. But first we begin with this, a live show recorded by Katch 22 at the Garage, North London.
Third Eye.
You want to say hello?
Hello.
This is Anke, singer for Katch 22. So what's happening tonight? You ready?
Gullies? Yeah.
Yeah? Ready to do this show?
Easy.
No, come on, who are
Katch 22 are currently getting ready to perform now. Nicky is pooping his pants. Killerman Twice is pooping his pants.
You want me to get fade music or do you want to walk on with music on?
Can we have a rider, please?
Huh?
Can we have a rider, please? Can we have our rider, please?
It's the Chris, not Chris said he was going to throw that. Is Chris here?
Is he running?
Yeah, it's running. Yeah.
Okay. Feeling laughing. This is Byron reporting for the pineal gland.
Right, start again. Right, this is Byron reporting for the Third Eye, and at the moment I'm here with Hunkleberry Finn, who's here to perform tonight at the Garage with the Marksmen, and I'm just here to ask him a few questions. So do you want to tell me about the forthcoming EP?
Forthcoming EP at the moment, it's top secret. Lifestyles is the title. It's got pure bomb tracks and usual non-conformist style of Katch 22. Nothing you've ever heard before, nothing you'll never hear again.
So tell me about the actual track itself, Lifestyles.
Lifestyles, take it from the album, buy it, it's available still. It's just about life from a criminal perspective, really.
Right. So like, is there anything that is it a life you need yourself or anything?
Me? I'm a musician.
Walks away, that one done, and that one never had them.
Don't worry yourself still, man, because you know how London stay. Man just clocking the cool. Man is clocking.
Living hardcore business now. The living hardcore.
Scan, down. Oh yeah. This is a gangster melody. For those who know what's going down. Hear me now? Penniless, but never less, nobody test. Yes, I smoke cess, come my life's been distressed, blessed by the curse, the seed of the dope weed. Free up the money on your neck will just bleed, cause with speed. You're gonna get cut, so just hold it down when I'm holding you up. Silly pop, you dropped in tears, I see you shaking. Me bruh, you rich and all your money I'm taking, so if I break into your yard, are you like me? I'm broad and I'm blood clot hard. I take your money, every piece of your set. I'm hard like hardcore and hard as hard to get. In my Fiat Uno, you know when I'm bloody driving, get stick in the middle to the side, sliding, striving, just to make my next split. Spot a bit of leggings, wonder if she's looking to live. Cause I'm slick and I'm quick, cause my dick's like a snake, much too much for the fools to take. I'm gonna break cause I don't give a heck. These are the lifestyles of the poor and the rough, man. It's a gangster melody.
Here we go.
Scamp, banana. Woo! Man, it's a gangster melody.
Yeah.
This one's the next single. Chan.
Oh yeah. Something from Katch 22 for Third Eye, the original pineal gland. You know what I'm saying?
Third Eye.
Over to Sainsbury, pretty dark. They've turned the lights out, haven't they?
Okay, do you want to tell me a bit about the solo project coming out then? The, what's it called?
Granite Project.
Granite Project, yeah.
Yeah, basically I'm working on the Granite Project, featuring quite a few MCs, quite a few producers. I got Mercury from Gunshot, FBI, and loads of people.
Shaka
Shazam, got Ashley on the drums.
So what's the concept then behind the EP? Is there going to be some kind of concept?
Yeah, basically the concept is just it's a hard breakneck concept, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just smacking out some hard tracks, you know what I mean? Because everything seems to be getting a bit light and eerie these days. So.
Right, and what about who's producing? Who's going to be producing?
At the moment, we haven't really finalised a contract, so it's all sort of up in the air, you know what I mean? But I can definitely say that Gunshot are very willing to do it. FBI are very willing to do it. Black Radical Mark II is willing to do it. You know what I mean? So it'll be something nice. You know what I mean?
This is the third eye.
Okay then. So yeah, tell me more about this because you've got a live drummer on your set at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like Terry Christian.
He's supposed to say right. Yeah, right. So you got a live drummer on your set. Yeah, right.
You got a live drummer on. No, you got a live drummer on your set, yeah. Drummer.
Got a live drummer on the set, man.
No, come on, fuck that. Right, so you got a live drummer on your set. So yeah, do you want to tell me a bit more about this new direction that you seem to be taking? Because this is something that you haven't really done before.
It's just an album though.
Yeah, it is.
Is it? Oh, that's what we want to know, man.
Yeah, we're using a live drummer on our set because basically we're working towards a band concept. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not departing from what we're doing, but just adding an extra dimension. There's something about musicians doing it live that you just can't fabricate. You know what I'm saying?
Because speaking to Margaret last time, he was actually talking of trying to maybe sort of get some people to do string sections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that you're still planning to do?
Basically, when hip hop is a form of music that has no movement, everything in it is fabricated. And basically, what we're trying to do, we're trying to work towards a concept of music that moves. Basically, goes up and down the scale. You know what I mean? Like when the chorus comes in, it kind of builds up and explodes. You know what I'm saying? But hip hop is very stiff.
Right. Yeah.
So what we're trying to do with the band concept is not take anything away, not to make it sound more packaged, but just to still use the hip hop idea of the hard drums, but with just real instrumentation, real movement.
Now we're going back to some hardcore.
Yep. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you very much for letting us jam, yeah? We normally do that at home, yeah?
Yeah. This one's called Final Judgment.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury. Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
Here we go.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury. Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
He's the killer, man. Hey, Mark, you know where I'm at? I'm a living in Fortress Europe, and the fascists are coming. Gone are the days when the blacks are running. Back in the days in my motherland, we accept the missionaries with the open hands. Centuries later, I'm living in the freezer, working for some redneck pot-bellied bitch who constantly smokes and grows his smoke. I hope he chokes while they're telling his black jokes. But I'm cool for good mental health. History will always repeat itself. For your nation's problems, we stand accused. The same way the Nazis blame the other Jews. TV news portrays as a whole the modern African image of some nigga with a begging bowl. I would have stopped machine killing his brother like the tongue. Since Guy and too many others to my contemporaries. I have the living content. Barbed wire tongue is sprung out of exempt. Don't tempt when I vent, cause surely a lyrical, cynical, physical style, the facts of fury.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
The black facts of fury.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
Oh, killer, man.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury. Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
Here we go.
Soul singers, they maintain the status quo. And not the black backer singers all just like hoes. Going still can't kick it, you're trying to play Marvin Gaye and even with some making the funk punks are far too long. Your lyrics are weak, but your voice is still strong. Misuse your talents to sing those songs you don't relate to your people, you relate to your people. Sing songs of facts so all can understand. Extend your repertoire like the man. Rashad is bad, but I'm glad that he made the wickedest album, though it never got played. Most singers pretend, but we intend the soul should be spelled with a D at the end. You misuse your gift when it can really uplift your people. Stuck in the love shit, when I riff and bit, majority of the artistically rich, but culturally poor, judged by your actions that don't ignore. Lyrical, cynical, physical, the facts of fury.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
The black facts of fury.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
Oh yeah.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
The black facts of fury.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
The black facts of fury.
Facts of fury. Facts of fury.
DJ Kill on the wheels of steel.
Facts of fury.
And Gay on the vocals. Mad Margot, producer extraordinaire. Ashley on the drums. Hunt Kilberry Finn on the rap.
This is Mad Margaret from Katch 22 saying tune in to Third Eye.
Woo!
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alright. You want some more funky shit?
Just rocking with the funk scene.
They want funk, man. That's what they want.
You want funk?
Yeah.
Oh, we know you're funky. Oh yeah. This is the man himself. This is DJ Marga. Mad Marga.
And who am I?
Producer star. Check this out. In a vocal reverse, new lyrics have burst. Free of the shackles that had me immersed in a train of thought that has held me back. Imagine if white was black. A white boy's on the train, he ain't no crook. But other blacks give him dirty looks. Grab their bags and hold their purses. Under their breath there's racial curses, but it's rehearsed. He holds no grudge. To a black judge, justice will never budge. But under pressure he must conform to other white boys. He's considered abnormal. He sold his soul to gain the curse. Is this the truth of the world, or a world called reverse? Here you go. Woo! In a world called reverse. Yeah, in a place. In a world called reverse, new vibes I found. Keys the chains that had me bound. In a train of thought that was doomed to fail. Imagine, men no longer male. Oh damn, there's a man, he's harassed at the office. But tell me, how can we stop this? Sitting alone on the train and he's frightened. Cause the women think he's tightened. Trousers arousing thoughts of rape. And then she'll say, he asked for it, mate. While on the place some men are unclean. You're in a white string vest just posing in a magazine. And they're seen in clubs, men whining, grinding, dining, still undermining each other. But who could be the first to sit for inequality? But reverse.
This is Hunk Finn reporting for Third Eye magazine, the original Bad Boy magazine. Here we are sitting here with Byron, the proprietor, editor, writer, distributor of Ear to the Ground magazine. Tell me, why did you start the magazine?
Basically, I did an interview with an artist called Blade. You might have heard of him. Basically, what happened was I wanted to sell this article to a magazine, but no one was interested in buying it. So I came up with the idea of actually putting together some more articles and that. Went up north to visit my uncle, basically laid out the magazine up at my uncle's with his help and that. And then I had a magazine, took it to a printer's, and then he printed it. It was as simple as that. But it was basically the reason why I set up the magazine was because people didn't want to buy my article. That was why. And then it took off, so I continued doing it.
What do you think of the magazines that are available right now?
But I just think the editorial teams on certain magazines don't really understand what I'm into anyway, hip-hop. So they end up sort of like...
Any examples?
I'm not going to give any examples because then I could be cutting off sort of like opportunities for work later on in my life and that. But I think people know who I'm talking of. Like you're going to get articles on heavy metal, you know, how fat a rapper is or something like that. And it just doesn't make sense to sort of like see people talking about that and they're not talking about what's happening over here, do you know what I mean? I mean, because you could even make a point of talking about the fact that, you know, artists here aren't selling or whatever, do you know what I mean? But no one seems to make a point of doing it. That's interesting in itself. People out there won't necessarily share my taste in music, and what I will try and do, regardless of whether I like an artist's music or not, I will interview them and represent them, because at the end of the day, in this country anyway, a lot of DJs decide who should be represented.
How do you mean? Radio DJs?
Radio DJs, yeah. A lot of radio DJs decide who should be represented and who shouldn't, do you know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day that's wrong. Basically,
like to see anybody who's good and real to the music get themselves in a situation where they can be noticed on a global scale, because that's another problem we've got. Most of the groups, most of the rappers who've been around for a while, we haven't really got anyone who's really made it, you know. I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure if you speak to American people, you say, well, who's, like, you know, do you know any rappers? And they'll probably say stereo MCs. No disrespect to them, but I don't really call their music hip-hop or rap.
Yeah.
To me, it's just like talking kind of pop music.
It was once upon a time.
Right? Yeah, once upon a time it was, but the stuff they do now isn't. But yet still, when I open, you know, certain magazines, I see, you know, like hip-hop publications, I see them in there. And I think, what's going on? They, you know, I can just imagine people around the world looking at it thinking, this what these London guys call hip hop? Now, when I do the show, basically I listen to the records. I decide if I like them, and I decide if I don't. If a record
So there's
is
no outside influence.
There's no power that be that
no,
controls.
you know, I don't put myself in a situation where a person at a record company is going to be able to say to me, I sorted you out with this last week, so I want you to play this. They know where to go. You know, from the day I took over that show, I did get a few phone calls from people trying to get me to do certain things. It's like, I'm not interested. You don't tell me if the record's good. I tell you if it's good, or I tell you if I like it. You don't tell me it's good and then try and persuade me that I should play it. It doesn't work that way. You know, there's too many people who get into influential places trying to orchestrate little underhand tactics, you know what I mean, to get certain records in certain positions. I'm just not with that at all. It's like, if it's real hip hop and it's good, I'll like it. You know, there's certain records I hear and I think, that's not bad. I'll play that. After a little while I think, yeah man, this record's grown on me. You know, if I've got a choice of playing a brand new Redman tune and some other group that no one's heard, I've got to think to myself, I've got an audience out there that I've got to keep entertained and keep them tuning in. So I've got to basically choose the records I play to keep my audience. A lot of people say, well, I don't care, any British record that comes out, you should play it. And I say no, because there's got to be a standard. If I go on the radio and start playing a load of nonsense UK hip hop tunes, people are just going to think, this guy doesn't know a slamming tune when he hears one. Because look at all this crap he's playing. You know, you've got to get yourself to a level where if you choose 30 records for your show, all 30 of them are good. Whether they're American or whether they're from France or whether they're from Belgium, it doesn't matter where. That they're good quality class records that people say, yeah, this guy's opinion, you know, I can get with his opinion because most of the stuff he plays, I find it personally good. You will never please everybody. You know, I get groups ringing me up saying, listen man, I gave you my tune, you didn't play it. I try to be honest. I'm not going to tell anyone, yeah man, I think your tune's wicked, when I don't. There's too many people in the music industry doing that. I'll listen to it man, if I don't really like it, I'm going to call you and I'm going to tell you I don't like it and I'm going to tell you why. If you don't really want that, a negative response, or if you can't handle it, you're going to start being silly, going to get into arguments and all that, keep your record man.
Okay, on that tip, let's hear some some on the ball or on the spot comments of what you think of these groups, if you don't mind.
Go on then.
What do you think of Blade?
Yeah, Blade's good. He's you know, he's done what a lot of people should do. Like, you take yourself out there, you set yourself up. I mean, I know he's taken, you know, a lot of chances in some of the things he's done, but hopefully it'll pay off for him, because if you don't believe in you, why should anyone else believe in you? You know, if you've got some money and you really believe you're that good, take your money and go and do your tune. If it fails, then maybe, you know, you're going to have to go back to the drawing board, but at least you believe in you. You know, you can't really sell something to somebody unless you're convinced that it's like, you know, the business. If you don't feel it is, why should anyone else?
Okay, what about Bushkiller?
Bushkiller, I mean, I only really know, you know, very little of their stuff. They've done that however many gun salute tune. I can't remember how many numbers it is, but yeah, that was a good stuff. I think, you know, the only criticism there would probably be and it's the same with a lot of the UK groups, they do a good tune and you don't hear another tune for like another year. And I think that's a big problem, you know. Like, that'd be like my overall criticism of a lot of the hip hop groups. They tend to take a little bit too long releasing stuff. So when a guy does come along, or a group comes along with a good tune, it tends to be like another 12 or 14 months before they approach you with another tune, by which time everyone's forgotten.
Yeah. So what about Stand Innovation?
Stand Innovation, I remember the last record they got, I didn't like it. I remember it was given to me by Humphrey from Katch 22. You know, when I saw him the next time, I said, look man, I don't really like it. It just sounded too kind of old and dated. He relayed the message. I seem to remember they got a little bit annoyed because I said I didn't like it. And that is like a typical example. I could have said to him, yeah, and I think the track's really wicked. It's the best tune I've heard all year, and I could have played it on the Friday and said, yeah, this is wicked, and then thought, don't really like this, man, I ain't playing it next week. But what good does that really do? It's like, I feel that you've got to be honest with them, and if people can't sort of handle criticism, if a man comes up to me and says, Steve, I listened to your show Friday, I do think it was very good, I'm not going to say, well, get stuffed, you know what I mean, I don't want to talk to you no more. I'll say, why? Well, I didn't think it was very good because if I think his criticisms are fair, I'll say, okay then. And I think, you know, you need to be honest with the groups. And the last tune they gave me, I didn't like it, and I said I didn't like it, and I didn't play it because I didn't feel it was good enough.
Okay. How about Mell'O?
I think Mell'O is an excellent rapper. Definitely, you know, at the pinnacle of the UK hip hop scene for quite a while. You know, I've listened to some of his recent stuff that he's done. You know, when I say recently, it's been done like 2 years and stuff. And there's some real good stuff in there. You know, I rate him.
My name's MC Mell'O. You're watching Third Eye.
While I take a second to reflect on creator, first in existence, true Lord and sustainer, master, maker, created the shaper, arrive from mind's eye, revealed on paper. While I take a second to reflect on my being, look into my soul, I do not like what I'm seeing. Everyone's a ragger, everybody's bad. People be making me crazy mad. Walk around my room and I fume. Rage embraced me, I'm being consumed. I try to hold it in, but my mind's reading danger. Acts of violence, this man is no stranger. Only takes a second to spark this. The light's overwhelmed, I'm consumed by the darkness. What can I do as my blood pressure bruised? Confused, erratic, but I still have to choose. What can I do to release all the anger? What can I do to release all the rage? What can I do to release all the pressure? What kind of move should I make? While I get to thinking and my brain starts ticking. Enough man be smoking the rock and be licking. Take, sting a hand back, then jet. Pocket cards in the back, man, I'm set. The bills are pouring in, I cannot take it no more. Poll taxes and pay the bailiffs at my door. And everything is hot. All that I got. My hi-fi, my video, the TV.
And so if you just want to start by just telling me about, basically you haven't been on the scene for quite a while now, so you just want to go into that and why you've been off the scene for so long.
I ain't been on the scene for a long time because I've been like watching Third Eye. Nah, in 1990 I released my last MC Mell'O recording that came out. You know, it's like 1990. That was the album Thoughts released, produced by Sparky Ski, all cuts and scratching performed by DJ Pogo, and all lyrics written by me and performed by me. We released that on Republic Records. And what the problem was is that basically the Republic got some problems with distribution from Rough Trade. I wasn't fully happy myself, and so, you know, I wanted to release singles from there, from the album, get a few singles out. But what happened was that in the end, you know, it came to the end of the term of my deal and we kind of dissolved it. But, you know, at least I got the album out, people get to know of us, Debt Incorporated and the whole shebang. So, in 1990 and 1991, I was doing a lot of projects like Karen Wheeler. I rapped with Karen Wheeler on that album, Junior Giscombe. I did 2 tracks in Manadu Bango and quite a lot of touring in Europe with him, which was really good. And it allowed me to be able to blend the rap with the jazz and the African music and everything. So, in 1991, we began talking with Jazzy B and his Funky Dread label, which was picked up by Motown. And as it went on, we got the lawyers together, got things sorted out, and I signed a deal. Signed a deal with him in 1991, proceeded recording my second album. By 1991, the album was recorded, a good 14 to 15 tracks. Beginning of 92, we mixed it, had it mixed by the beginning of 92, had to go back in a couple months later to just finish off some mixing. So these were the things that was keeping me quiet for 2 years. The fact that we were sorting out a deal, recording that album, but I was still doing shows. Me, Pogo, Cutmaster Swift, Sparky, we was doing lots of shows all around Europe and other places around the world. So I was busy and I was getting things together. But in 1992, when I wanted to release the album, Motown actually dropped the Funky Dread label. The deal was dissolved. There's a big shake-up in Motown, and like all the dominoes is falling. I'm just one of the dominoes, basically. So I needed to get my material out. I needed to get the stuff out, and basically I think it would have had to mean Funky Dread Records going off their own back to finance it, no longer Motown finance. So I'm not too sure how Motown and Funky Dread was gelling together anyway, but I needed my material out, and Funky Dread had to finance it, which they didn't seem to really either want to do, or they felt that they couldn't do it for whatever reasons. Everybody that heard the album was going mad about the album. That's from white people to black people, hip-hop people to rock people. It didn't matter. Everybody that heard it, they heard flavors on there which they was going mad about. So it's no issue that the album, nobody can say the album isn't a good album or it's not well produced or anything, because it went past saying this is a good British album. This is a bad hip hop album. That's all it is to it. Whether it's British from West Coast or whether it's from East Coast or Canada or Japan or whatever, or Europe, it's a bad album. So basically, I was very frustrated for the year of '92 because I had no way of getting my records out. I was trying to be in good faith with the record company and just say, look, you know, I'm doing my job. I produced the album. I've written, you know, we've got all the stuff there. We've mixed it. Come on, let's get it out. But the shit went deeper than that. And you say, shit. I recorded that album. I delivered the album. We was given a specific amount of money to record the album, of which I did. When the album was recorded, because it's hip hop now, I bring to the record company the papers saying that, you know, what samples got paid for. When they find out how much the samples cost, they were telling me I have to pay for it. That they're not paying for it. Now this is where we get in a problem now, because I'm saying, you know, what's going on here? Anyway, they said they're not paying for it, I got paid for it. I told them the recording budget is a recording budget. Yeah, I've recorded, I've paid the producers, the singers, all the other rappers, they're being paid for recording. This is sample business, it's not, where is it saying in the contract, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this was what the problem was. The record company is not gonna pay for the samples. And as it went on, it started to get a bit to the point where I was saying, look, I've delivered an album. I've fulfilled my side of the contract. When are you gonna do yours? And they were saying, look, we're not accepting your album. You say you delivered it, but we're not accepting it because it's not, the samples have not been paid for, therefore the album's not delivered.
But didn't that render the contract void then?
Well, yeah, but you know, it was also a great era. This is why the lawyers had to get involved. Because really and truly, to me and with the record company, it was total bad faith. They signed me to the deal, and I'm signing to Motown, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Jazzy B, he come from the street, I come from the street. He's had to fight so hard to make so successful. I've been fighting hard to make myself successful. I've had obstacles in my way, I've had hurdles in my way, I've had the most problems. I've had the most problems. One of the reasons I signed was because it's Motown, and because he was talking to me in a way of, yes, my brother, we can do something. My brother, we can hook up some things together, my brother. We can get things to work together. And I was like, that's what I like to hear. Let's see what we can do. Always keeping one eye open, you understand me? And when all this started to happen, it showed me that my brother don't mean shit, basically. It's all about money. It's all about money, it's all about losing money, and it's all about making money. And so, this just like for '92, this plus other things that was happening in my life at that time, I just said, let me just take a step back from it. Because I saw too much sharks, I saw too much wickedness going down, and I saw too much kind of exploitive devil shit as far as I'm concerned, you know? Right. So I stepped out of the scene and the whole music industry.
So did it kind of disillusion you from wanting to make records and that, yeah?
No, not from necessarily making records. It disillusioned me from the music industry. Right. Is this what I got to go through just to get a record out, which is saying what I believe and what I want to say? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it wasn't like I'm getting stopped by some white racist bigot BNP man who doesn't want me. Yeah. Who wants to keep me where I am. I'm getting held back by an ex-black man who's coming from the same place I'm coming from, which is confusing me. And I was like, well, if this is the kind of people I'm dealing with, you know, fuck it, man. With these people, with some people you have to deal with, it's not about what you're saying anymore. It's about money. It's only about money. It's about figures. It's about, you know, I had man coming to me telling me, look at this is the kind of records that's selling, rah, rah, rah. And I'm saying to myself, shit, man. You people are DJs and that. Don't tell me about what's selling. Listen to what I've done and see that this shit can blow up. Then you start, put my stuff out, let's set the trends, not follow the trends. So this is what the problem was, it disillusioned me big time. And as it was like that, I just kind of just took steps out. I just chilled out, just did a lot of reading, contemplating. The phone started ringing less because all them people that used to phone all the time when Mell'O was out there start phoning less. So I said, that's cool, because it's like it gives me the time to clean my system out and to clean out the frauds as well. Because the people that's legit, they stuck around. Even when I was a pain in the ass, you know what I'm saying? They stuck around, they stuck by me, so I'll never forget them. And as for those, the laggers and that, and the man that wanna, the Klingons, and the people that wanna cling on, they can cling, man. For 94, I hope to release the album, which will be the second album. But I hope to release it in 94. I hope to get some singles out in 94. And believe me, the caliber, the level of the shit we're making, Sparky's on form. I'm staying on his back to make sure he stays on form. I feel hungry again. Pogo's always hungry. That's why he's so skinny. Nah, he ain't skinny no more. But you know, nice. We feel ready to just blow up the place. I got lyrics, man. I got lyrics like Sand on the Beach, man. I got so much lyrics I can't remember. My brain ain't holding all the lyrics I got. And everywhere I'm going and there's a mic, you better watch out, because I'm on some animal vibes, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, what's up out there? This is Ice-T, and right now you're watching the #1 video magazine in the world, Third Eye.
Hello, my name's DJ279 and you're watching the Third Eye video magazine. We're in London, in Choice FM 96.9. I am the presenter of their 3-hour hip-hop show, and I'm joined today with a group from London who have had reasonable success. They're the Lords of Rap. How you doing, boys?
Yeah, not so bad.
Easy, man.
So.
You just want to introduce yourselves and tell us who you are?
Yeah, well, I'm MC Roo from the Lords of Rap.
And I'm DJ Extreme. And I'm Def G, the Inside, and we're absent one member, GOK, because he's down the pub or somewhere else, you know what I mean? He just couldn't make it.
Alright, I won't take that as an insult then, alright? So, how long have you guys been together?
Well, as a group, we've been together for 5 years now. But before, we've all been doing it separately for like a lot longer. Me and Roo were in a group together.
Since we were about 8 or something like that. If you had an idea about how long ago that is.
Young cousins and that. And how long you been?
And myself and GLK have been chilling out, as it were, since 1985.
Flintstone, just hold tight. Quincy Bones, just hold tight. London Posse, just hold tight. The Brotherhood, just hold tight. PLZ, just hold tight. MCD, just hold tight. Son of Noise, just hold tight. Because we gotta put up a fight. I write my lyrics to get a deal in the States, cause in the past I made rough tunes. For me, I'm in mates to just sit down and listen to, say that I'm the man, but this man ain't loaded like a Securicore van, see? I graft hard like a bloke down the mines, but in this country hard graft's just a big waste of time. I write my rhymes so in the States I get signed up. That's for you to make your mind up. You see, the British refuse to buy British crews, fake and break up like a girl with too much makeup. It's time for them to wake up and come out the coma, or the UK black music gets swallowed up like Jonah. A major label would leave this on the shelf, so UK rap's like home base. You do it yourself, but don't expect to get paid though, is what they love to say. That's why we're emigrating. A kiss goodbye to the UK. 279, just hold tight.
Max and Dave, just hold tight. Steve Wren, just hold tight. Cupmaster Swift, just hold tight. DJ Pogo, just hold tight.
So, how many releases have you had so far?
3. I've had about 4 or 5, but when you say releases, they got put on a record and released, but it's not anything major really. None of them was on a major for a start.
Okay, so what was your first track called?
Do we have to say?
Yeah. I'm asking the
First track was Lords of Rap Theme, and that was on a very, very, very small independent label called Furious Fish, and there's only 350 copies about, and I've got 3. You ain't hearing it either, ever, because you got to start somewhere.
Metropolitan Police, come out with your hands up! Come out with your hands up!
Bollocks, Copper, I'm taking you with me!
Fire! We're gonna fight funk, for your granny.
Sure your seatbelt's in. The flaps are up, out in the engine. Turn on the set, put your vibe tape in. Cause we take off and we're not coming down again. It makes you wanna crease up under the boys' greaser. Well, bless her my soul, man. Now I got stuff. My intro done. The intention exquisite. Run could catch up. Listen bonafide lyrics. Rappers got a funky side. If you don't dig deep, you won't ever find. Watch your step, walk on the chalk line. What's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. All of that's done, says the extreme one.
What other topics have you chosen to rap about on your forthcoming album? Has it got a title first of all?
It's got a title, it's called 4 Sides of a Coin.
Explain that.
Well, that sounds less the 4 of us or whatever, it's pretty self-explanatory.
The phrase of,
you know what I mean?
hear the other side of the coin, mean the other side of the story. We're the other side of the story, but we're 4 sides of the story. And we're not just like the head, well, basically I'm the inside of the coin. So it's not just straight up sides like proper 3-dimensional sides, I'm the inside.
I'm the head side because I think about things.
What do you mean? Rue?
I'm the wild side, the white side, the flipping it on the right side. Drop my style with enough pride. Nah, I'm the wild side, and that's it, but I'm not very wild at the moment.
And the 4th side, GOK, he's the tail side, because he's bringing up the rear, he's the security. So, but other subjects on the album, well,
all sorts of stuff that hits you just all the time, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a bit about that. Piggy in the middle of a track. That's just saying like, don't sleep about too much because your dick's gonna fall off. And like, it's, you know what I mean? That's not the be all and end all of all life. He's getting you in the way. Like, let's sort of, hey man, let's be cool people, like, and all that. But there's all stuff that hits you all the time. Like,
there's a track called sorry to butt in. There's a track called Crossroads, which I thought of the title because it's something I was going through. Like, it's like, boy, everyone has crossroads in their life, decisions, what road to take. You get to a point, you can only go so far, then you have to make a decision. So, and my one was, boy, do I get a job or do I stick with this music thing? There's a track called Divided We Fall, which is about the UK scene, which is very, very, very relevant. And we didn't want to go on about we're UK rappers, we rap like we talk and that, like, because a lot of the tracks we scrapped were a bit sort of dropping English and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We kept carrying on about that, but there's all sorts of butty geezers from outer space. Ooh, controversial, but I ain't gonna chat about that.
Also stuff that hits you in life, sort of thing, like rumours, stuff that bugs you and everything, you know what I mean, innit? And there's the Bad Dreams tune as well, which is just about like how some days can turn into a nightmare. And like, that's it.
Stuff that everyone thinks. No guns and gangsters and drive-bys, because boy, you don't do that. I ain't seen one.
One of the tracks you did have out last year, which was called Where Does the Extra £3 Go? I mean, I thought that was quite a clever tune. You just want to tell us what that was about?
Where does the extra £3 gone? Not in my pocket, nah. It's about Say-Days, man, and the fact that they are totally rip-off. And they're just terrible, mate, and like, it's a waste of money, and like, don't buy vinyl and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? The fact is that they cost more. They cost probably less than vinyl to produce. And where does all the extra money go? Because it certainly ain't in my pocket for making the music, and it certainly ain't in the punter's pocket. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's up to the lads at Sony. Like,
we just thought we'd wise up some people to the big conspiracy in a massive, massive industry, because it started off. It's kind of a Sony thing. I don't want to single them out, but it's all the companies. But companies like Sony who just lost out in a big way when Betamax just died, then they must have thought, boy, we ain't gonna get trapped in that. So as soon as you know what I mean, they're not gonna get trapped again. So as soon as a new music form come out, Sony suddenly took over a record company, and they were producing CDs on a manufacturing level. So
they manufacture the hardware, they do the software. Now they're in charge of the artists. They've already got the management.
So they're just getting control.
It's all sort of.
And basically, they're making enough money from just manufacturing one thing, and they're charging more for CDs. That just makes me laugh, especially when they re-release records from back catalogues that have been out on record, and now they're releasing it on CDs. Some people are stupid. They'll go out and buy the CD of a record they've got because it's on a CD. And the fact is, the hours we spend and graft in a studio trying to get the sound crystal, you ain't gonna hear the difference between a CD and a vinyl. It's more or less the same, except for an age thing.
Yeah, there ain't that many people with sets nice enough to hear the difference on anyway. You know what I mean?
Everyone's got their Amstrad stuff.
Yeah, their dodgy hi-fis. Who's got the wicked fucking banging out some business to hear the difference between the CD and the record? It's silly, isn't it? Sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Waste the money. You just got to watch what you're doing. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, what's up? This is Kinetic Effect, the phenomenal physicist MC, and I'm down on Insane Recordings.
My name is Insane Macbeth, producer of K Effect, and also label boss of Insane Recordings. And this is my man here, DJ Polo, also a producer, got his crew Rhyme Side.
Okay, so do you want to just go into the history of yourself as an MC, Kinetic?
Well, boy, I've been going for about 7 years, yeah, and got into see-through graffiti, and then just picked up on the MCing side and got better at MCing and worse at graffiti. So I just kind of called out on the graffiti, just carried on MCing. I've been through several crews. The main one was To The Top, but that's kind of done now. I'm just kind of hooking up on a more intense tip now. And
the sword cuts the air, kinetic effects here. While he was gone, you passed, but now he's writing your epitaph. So better drop your last line on lethargy, cause competitors better be better than kinetic E. Consider me enemy, I retard the return of the rest. So fraternity decays a fee to pay was foul. You scowl, scuff of the ship, but the shit still moves bowels. Arouse a remedy, your placebo's brain dead. Refrain from games, so just play dead and stay dead. I'll state it, just stammer and sucks. From X to gamma, the ramifications of K-rays raise rocks. I buck up and feel the effect of venom. Insane and remain raw, abhor the sign he sent him. Raps competitive, competitors are for peace to good, but the rest receives war or death. You bereft the breath, act with effect and lose teeth. You're left the meth, redress the balance. It's its MCs, I have talent, retaliate and make fates to vacate the premises. My premises to diss, you're reminiscent, you're missing. I radiate like nuclear fission, the physicist to destroy. Boys, approach and die, enjoy. Take the techno. Keep it going on. To the Batmobile.
Blade here on Third Eye, haha. The first video rap magazine ever, at least to my knowledge anyway. I hope you enjoyed the interviews that you'll be seeing. You'll be seeing Mell'O, whoever, but next on the interview list, Blade. Oi, fuck off, I'm playing. I don't want to do an interview anymore. I've had enough of interviews. I just basically got started back in early 80s. I started writing lyrics and whatever, and I was rapping over instrumentals of tapes I was getting from States, from friends and whatever. that was it. Then I started hanging out in Covent Garden, doing breakdancing, body popping, graffiti. I was even DJing at one point. And I guess a lot of other people at the time were. But things went a bit stupid in Covent Garden. You know, people started stealing stuff to exchange it. Like those people stealing the shorts for the summer or whatever, so they could exchange it with big graffiti markers, stuff like that. And eventually I just decided not to bother going anymore. But those were the good old days. You will never get days like that again. That's basically how I got started back in the
Was
day.
there a lot of competition back in the days, do you know what I mean? Between rappers, was there like battling?
Yeah.
Do you want to go into that?
Alright, well I got my name recognized in Covent Garden because the first thing I did was battle somebody. I went there and I was a nobody and I battled this guy called Katch. On the first night he beat me, but the revenge was out. And the reason basically I guess why he won is because everybody knew who he was and no one knew who I was. And that was it. He had a lot of support and I had nobody. Same as Nice, you know, hang alone, solo, single, the one, the only, I'm lonely. But that was it. There was a lot of breakdance battles going on, there was body popping, and there was always police interfering, you know, like in the tube station at Charing Cross. There's police always coming down trying to cause riots and whatever on Saturdays. But we weren't having none of that, were we, boys?
And what views and opinions do you have on the UK scene at the moment? How do you feel about a lot of material being put out on the UK scene? You like it? Don't like it? You don't know? You don't want to answer this question?
No, I'm only joking. No, I think, me personally, I think there's more creativity coming out of the UK at the moment than there is from the States. A lot of people would argue that point, but a lot of those people are dumb fucks that have been brainwashed by listening to radio stations, you know, that basically plug nothing but US stuff. Now, I got nothing against the US material, apart from the fact that a lot of it sounds the same. But, you know, it's, for them, because America is so big, most of them are only interested in making money. A lot of them were not even rappers 8 months ago, and they come up with an album that makes it massive. Why? Because America is big, so they get away with it. So they can come out with shit and get away. And there's also like that thing about one DJ said about competition. Alright? They don't have enough competition there. Everyone is together. And everyone's together in a very, very friendly way, whatever. I'm friends with a lot of the rap groups in the country and whatever. But at the same time, I still know that there's competition that comes in some aspects. So that keeps it alive. You know, that keeps us going and whatever. But at the moment, to me, the UK rap scene is doing a hell of a lot more to try and please the public than the States rap scene is. That's my personal opinion.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Why do you think they...
Well, they have to work harder. It's like when I was looking for a job. I couldn't find a job because of the way I was dressed. So I used to go and look for jobs like every day and try, basically busting out my balls to try and get a job and whatever, and it was impossible. But I knew that if I ever got that job, I'd be working hard because I didn't have anything. And basically that's the reason why, because like the UK rap groups or whatever do not have anything. All these years they've been doing whatever they've been doing and they have nothing to show for it. American rap group comes out with one single and they're walking away millionaires. Got a new mansion on the top of the hill. Maybe in Cyprus, I don't know. I don't like to be too predictable in what I do in the studio. It's like, for example, a lot of groups would just go in there with the samples and leave it at that. You know, but I like to get like the DJ involved. I like to play the part as a DJ sometimes in the sense of like, I'm an amateur as a DJ. Like I said, I'm not a DJ. But sometimes I just want the sound to be amateur. I don't want it to be like all the time.
Quite a raw sound, isn't it?
Yeah. Like on The Lion Goes From Strength to Strength in one of the choruses, with like you were there, Byron was there, so he knows. Like in the chorus, I just, instead of scratching, I just picked up the needle on this part. There was a long trumpet part, yeah. And I just picked up the needle and dropped it back down on that same place, on the same groove, and for the whole chorus. You know, and everyone thought it was scratching, and it was shit scratching. It wasn't scratching. You know? So I try and do all different kinds of things. So like for example on Grip of the Pitbull, everyone thought that was scratching. That It wasn't. It was this. You know, we get all different types of things. It was one of these things.
Keep it going on! Keep it going on!
Simple.
Do the thing when you did it.
Can't do it again. stuff like that. Whatever. No. We got a whole range of toys that we can go for. Just go for the whole shebang. No, it's like I don't like just taking samples and then just putting the vocals on and then walking out the studio after the mix. I like to add certain things. Like on the Ain't Shit To Me, we got Grass, my DJ, to like just spin a record back through like the whole of the last verse and the whole of the outro. Just spun a record backwards all the way. You know? Things like that. And like on Fuck the Government, if you spin the record backwards, there's talking underneath. Just basically saying, I want to go to the toilet and I'm hungry. Where's the food show? It's just rubbish, things like that. Doesn't make no sense, but there you have it.
Where'd you get the inspiration for, you know, tracks? In the sense that, you know, Gunshot would probably find a kung fu flick like Battle Creek Brawl and say, yeah, let's call this one Battle Creek Brawl and relate it to that. You know what I mean? Do you do anything along them kind of lines? Do you know what I mean? When you're thinking of tracks.
I get most of my inspiration from like either watching films or listening to old records. Not like records that people can relate to. Like the kind of records I listen to is, and I get inspiration from, is people like Material and This Heat. They're just avant-garde business, you know. They're not anything predictable, and you know that's why there was tracks like Shut the Fuck Up and Silence is Better Than Bullshit, because that's the kind of thing that they would do. You know, they don't want to be like too predictable. I get a lot of my samples from records such as these, from a group called Cran. They come from Cologne. Alright, basically any samples like these are worth taking in my eyes because they're different, they're not the usual. I mean, the drummer is totally shit and so is the guitarist, but you can just take snippets and you can do something positive with them. You have stuff like this, Can. They're excellent as well. We got the beat from one of our records. From there. You have mad obscure stuff like this, CC Rides Again, which I doubt if you'll ever find anywhere, because I only found it by luck. The guy at the shop was sitting on it. So basically, you got, I mean, I only bought it because of one track, but I found out there was about 4 or 5 other samples that I could take, and it was worth the money. Big elephant butt in the way too. This one, I'm not telling you what this is. Have a quick look. You know, you might have known this is, and the inspiration was from the way I was living at the time. You know, it's like I had to pickpocket people to get the money to put out my record. You know, washing dishes, whatever, that came on the later one, and Rough It Up. I used, back in the days, it's like, you just pick up inspiration from wherever you're at. Like, you know, I was on the bus, I'd see someone do something or get into a fight over a 10p fare that he didn't want to pay. And I'd try and work something out with that and put it into lyrics. We're now standing on Clifton Rise, where we took the photo for the Rough It Up EP, and also we done a little bit of our video shoot. Clifton Rise, the Notorious. If you look down there, you see the off license where Gripper lives. And if you look up there with the tower blocks, that's the place where they call the ghetto. I don't know why, because it's not a real ghetto, but I guess everywhere has a name for itself. But anyway, we'll take a trip down to the off license and see if Gripper's there. That's the Notorious Gripper. The one that doesn't like you still up to this day.
Still running tunes on the rise, man.
Yeah, man.
For years, man.
Basically, You know, that's why the track was called Mind of an Ordinary Citizen. It's like basically I think like an ordinary citizen, but I want to make progress. That's why the B-side was forward, because that's where I want to move, forward. Okay, we're now leaving the off license with Johnny, Glenn, and Grip for the Pitbull, and we're walking down towards the tunnel, the notorious tunnel. Here we go. This is the side where we came in to record, no, to take the photo for Lyrical Maniac. And that's basically it. And this is Pauline. She's walking over. Pauline or the twin sister?
No, Pauline.
Hi. You okay?
You're right.
Yeah. Sound like your sister, yeah? Alright. Now, as you walk in here, it's a very low tunnel. Alright. Now we're coming to the place, to the direct exact spot where on Lyrical Maniac I stopped. I took my photo like so. There. Now I come to the other side. This is the neighborhood where we are. The tube station is right above us. Look, it's a dope shit. Okay. As we stand here, I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but you might need to go back a little bit. But as you stand here, that's the tunnel. The tube is right above. When we're taking the photos, we're climbing up that pole there and jumping on the tube from the back and getting the doors open somehow. It was good fun. But there, all motors prohibited, 24.5, the whole Mulberry Scarf, no parking, all of that. This is Mind of an Ordinary Citizen. But I personally think generally the scene is shit. Cause like you don't get no support from the DJs no matter how hard you work. You know, the DJs, like radio DJs don't play your tracks no matter what you do. You know, and it's like they can't turn around and tell me that me personally I'm shit, or Katch 22 is shit, or Mell'O is shit, or whatever. But yet they will not play our tracks. As far as I'm concerned, the radio DJ's job is to play tracks that people want to hear. And if they're not playing those tracks, they're not doing their job. You know what I mean? And they're not the radio DJs. A lot of them, it's like they plug a lot of the rubbish that's coming out. Like I'm not personally saying that it is rubbish. I personally don't like it. Like the Naughty by Nature stuff. He's a good rapper, but I don't like the way the music is and whatever. It's too much today and not enough of what was going on yesterday. And it's leading into sort of self-destruction.
Right, but then a lot of DJs would argue that what they do play is what people want to hear, do you know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, that is what people seem to be sort of into, do you know what I mean? I mean, for instance, you may not think a Redman tune is, you know, anything to sort of like write home about or anything, but at the end of the day, millions of other people do like people like Redman.
Yeah, but there's tracks of everybody that I've heard, particular tracks that I can like. Like there's Guard Your Grill from Naughty by Nature. That is a fucking excellent track. You know what I mean? Then you got like Redman. He's got his tracks that are kind of good. I don't really know any of his tracks because I don't really listen to him. But K Solo, I mean, Spellbound. Who can touch that? You know what I mean? Everyone's got tracks that you can say, yeah, they're wicked or whatever. But the problem is like, it's the same as the pop industry. The reason why people like Kylie Minogue and whoever are big or were big is because there was a lot of money put behind them and everyone was playing them and plugging them away. Now, I guarantee you do the same with Blade and Katch 22. You do the same with Blade and Katch 22 and you're rolling the same way. And if anyone wants to argue that point, I'm here. 694-2212.